quick step back. Both of you start like 7, 8 years old skating or something like this?
I was like 8, almost 9. You were a bit older, weren't you?
I was a late starter. I was 10 when I started.
And football didn't buy you?
Well,
Nearly.
I was
Nearly.
captain of the football team.
Nottingham Forest, of course.
Well, they were the team to follow, but at school I was captain of the football team until skating took over.
So who attract who when you get together?
That's an interesting
question.
story because Jane had been a pair skater, which is different from ice dancing, and her partner had left to go to London. I'd been a dancer, but my partner left to go to London, and a trainer, a well-known trainer, Janet Sawbridge, came to Nottingham to start training people, well, to come and train me and my partner, but she left. And so we were looking for a partner, and guess who was free?
And who made the first step?
I think it
The
was
coach put us together, I think.
it was the coach, because she must have known of me and what I'd done and could see, and there was other coaches in the ring that worked with her, and I think they decided that we would be a good match, and with height difference and everything, and just even though I was a pair skater, I got the same ice dance qualifications as Chris had. So you take ice dance tests to a certain level, and I got the same level as Chris, and so yeah.
After the first day, or after the first couple of days, the coach said, "Well, are you going to be a partnership? Are you going?
How do you feel?
How do you feel?" We didn't want to be super. We didn't want to. What's the word I'm looking for? We didn't want to jinx it by saying yes, we're going to be a partnership. So we said we'll let you know.
Hurry up.
Next week. Or the week after, And 50 years later, we still haven't agreed whether we're going to skate together.
No, we're still late.
40 years later, 50 years later.
50 years later. She's still on probation.
Look, this is specific sport, definitely very different than other team sports, but this is a lot of is going on. When you are together, we are dancing together. What is the most important, the sense of the music, or sense of the dance, or sense of physical preparation?
I don't think you can put it down to one thing. It's all of those things.
Components.
But also, it's the relationship.
And I think
that's what I want to ask you. How thin a line or thick line between relations, because it's very sensitive, sensual sometimes, and the private life? Partners from one side, other side, been jealous?
For the longest time, we didn't have partners. It was just the two of us.
We didn't want anything to get in the way because we were focused and competing, etc. So yeah.
So really, it wasn't until after the Olympics and when we started touring that we then started to have other relationships. But even that didn't get in the way of what we were doing. We always played skating as our career.
We grew up together as teenagers. Well, we knew each other before then, but when we started skating together, we were teenagers. So we went through those teenage years. But
20s, 30s.
Yeah, luckily we did.
40s.
Or jubilees.
Yeah, luckily we still both had the passion for skating, and that was always number one for us. Was the skating was the most important thing.
And now we have this TV show called Dancing on Ice.
Yeah, I know.
Which has kept us together and kept us, it's afforded as an opportunity to still be skating. We've been doing this now, 16 series over 18 years. So we've been doing this longer than we were competing. So this has been as much a part of our life that's enabled us to still be able to go out and perform and skate.
And it's kept Bolero alive too, because that becomes a part of the competition.
At the end of the competition, the celebrities all have to perform a version of Bolero, their version.
Well, we are coming on Bolero. I mean, a lot of us, we knew Ravel, Bolero, but not many people accept Bolero like a hit. Music hit. For us, you make Bolero so famous. How did you decide to choose this music and choose the dancing?
It's a long story. Each year we come up with a concept of something. We've done something called Mac and Mabel, which was from the silent movie period. Then we did Barnum, which was from the circus. So we were looking to go in a completely different way. And we'd been using the music, bolero, as a form of warming up. We'd get on the ice and stroke around.
Nice and gentle.
And the full-length version is 18 minutes or 19 minutes. And what happens with it? It starts very small and it grows bigger and bigger to a crescendo. And we liked the format of that, of how it progressed musically, and we wanted to capture that in 4 minutes. And so then we had to find an arranger. We got an arranger to arrange the music, and then we had to get musicians to play the music in a studio. But they could only get it down to 4 minutes and 20 seconds.
That's what I want to ask. How did you realize
4 minutes,
this?
28 seconds. And so that's why we had to, but out of necessity, we started on our knees. And what happens, the ruling at the time was, when you start to skate, the stopwatch
So when your
is
skate
pressed.
touches the
Yeah.
ice.
So
Touches
we
the
did
ice.
this whole moment to the beginning on our knees and swaying. I lift Jane, and when her feet touched the ice, that was when the stop.
That was the right time.
That was the right
Yeah.
time, and then we finished at 4 minutes 10 seconds, which is fine.
4:10. Yeah.
It, it was really fantastic, perfect day. It's Valentine's Day, 14th of
Yes.
February,
We call it Bolero Day.
Bolero Day. And then what is for us was very important, this day, Jure Franco won the silver in the giant slalom.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a
And I
big
was
day.
there, I've been there, and the whole atmosphere was incredible. How you can describe this day? If you can remember, not all details, but,
Yeah, I mean, the actual performance.
and Prince Sand was there as well. So
That's
is
right,
it more
Princess Anne's
pressure?
there. That's the whole thing. We didn't think
Block
about that.
everything out.
Okay.
We trained and trained and trained to the point whereby the bodies took over, but we could emotionally engage with the performance. And as we were skating, it felt like there was a bubble around us. We couldn't hear or see the audience. It was just the two of us. It was quite an intimate piece. And it crescendoed. And as we finished lying on the ice,
Yeah.
it was almost like somebody pressed the button for the sound. And there was suddenly
Oh, I
this
could
all
hear that.
applause and cheers and people standing up, and we were back in reality. But for that moment, it was almost like we were in a trance, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Did you ever talk between the performances?
Just eye
Never,
contact.
just eyes contact.
Yeah.
You understand perfectly
You
what.
could-
Well, you
when you've
feel-
worked together for so long, you feel all the movements and the positions, and you can almost read each other's mind.
And then you wake up, and then you saw all six.
Yeah.
What does it mean? Never ever happens,
Never
and never ever
Will happen
happens.
again,
24
that's true.
million spectators in
Yeah.
Great Britain and billions in all of the world. Did you feel this atmosphere on
We felt
your
it
shoulders?
in the arena, the people in the arena.
Yes, I remember that after we'd finished, there was huge applause, and then lots of flowers were thrown onto the ice, and we started to pick up some of the flowers along with the flower girls.
They were taking so long.
And then there was another huge roar because in the meantime the judges had put the scores up before we'd even got off the ice, and then I remember looking up at the scoreboard and seeing.
Full set of sixes.
Yeah.
You've been 10 years ago in Sarajevo, but there's a nice story about when you mentioned the flowers.
30 years ago, after 30 years, 10 years ago,
Yeah.
we did go back
And
we met. There was a little girl that collected some flowers. She was 6 years old and gave them to us. And when we went back on the 30th anniversary, there was this 36-year-old lady that gave us
she-
some flowers,
she
and it
told
was the
us.
same little
Unbelievable.
girl.
yeah.
Yeah.
Part of this incredible goal, and that is like roof of your career, amateur career. What do you remember from Sarajevo? Do you remember some restaurants, some food? What is you've been exciting
We kind
Most-
out of the out of the task
Most
for
of
the goal?
time, we just ate in the village, and we had
Yeah.
very little opportunity. But
But 10 years ago, when we went back, we were able to see a bit more of the city, and we met the mayor of Sarajevo.
yeah, I mean, for us, it was the launching of the rest of our life from Sarajevo from that moment on. That's why we're still here and talking to you today.
And then it's Olympic Games in Lillehammer, and then basically you decide to go to Profi. What is the basic difference to transfer from this status another one, a new one? Is it new
in
dresses,
fact,
new arrangements?
From Sarajevo to Lillehammer was a 10-year period.
And we were professional.
And we were turned professional. It was because of Lillehammer that they opened up the competition to return. And so it was a big thing for us to go back 10 years later. But for us, it's an expressive art form. And so we've always been trying to push the boundaries of taking it into entertainment, but also in a balletic kind of way. And going back to competition was going back to very defined rules and regulations. And so for us, it was
tough, wasn't
difficult situation.
I can imagine the new scoreboarding.
Yes.
Did you be confused about this?
I think everybody's confused about it.
Have you arguing with the referees or the judges?
Obviously,
disappointing.
It can be. The problem is, I feel, is that it's not clear to the public of
what they're trying to do,
how it's scored and how it's marked.
Complicated.
The transparency of it. It feels complicated.
Because I've asked certain people, and I've asked Chris.
Jane hasn't been involved with skating as much. I've choreographed for a lot of skaters since that time.
But I said, well, what is the equivalent of the perfect score now?
There isn't one.
And there isn't one.
At the moment.
It changes.
I mean, there is a top score, I don't know what it is, if you get perfect on every level.
Right.
But that hasn't been achieved.
No.
At the moment, how much you are involved in British skating? In which form you are involved in British skating?
Well, when people come and ask me to choreograph for them, I'm happy to choreograph. So, I've worked with many people over the years. Olympic
You've been
champions
doing some teaching here since you moved back
yes,
to the UK.
British couples. I worked with Aliona and Bruno, who were the last Olympic pair champions for Germany. But I enjoy the process of the creative side of skating.
Is anything what you are missing in your career?
I think we're replete, we're quite full up. We feel like we've done a lot. And when you say 40 years, you go, gosh, that's such a long time. And yet it feels like yesterday as well.
And we've been lucky enough, because of the Olympics, because of Sarajevo, to have lots of opportunities to try new things. And we're always up for a bit of a challenge, aren't we?
Yeah,
So,
this TV show, we like to entertain people.
And we can be creative within the TV show.
So many questions, but our time is short. Jane Torvill and Christopher Dean, it was honor, it was pleasure, it was excitement to talk to you, our guest Al Jazeera. And I must tell you something, your gold is still shining, even stronger than before. Thank you very much.
Thank
and
you.
have a nice time in Sarajevo.
We will.